Our next talk is called Untangle Python Spaghettis, Deep Dive into Environments and Dependencies Management with Cheuk. She used to work in developer relations, before she started working in developer relations, she was a data scientist at different companies, but they focus on high numerical and programmatic skills, and especially in Python. And Cheuk is now a developer advocate at Conda. She also contributes to multiple open source libraries like Hypothesis and Pandas. And in 2021, Cheuk was a Python Software Foundation Fellow. Please join me in a warm round of applause for Cheuk.
Let's talk about all these challenges that we have, not like just technical difficulties by presenting, but also challenge that we have when we are starting to use Python. So I'm Cheuk, so this is all my contact information. So if you want to talk to me afterwards or something, like I'm here around, but after today or tomorrow, then you want to talk to me, I am available. Send me a message, let me know. So I'm Cheuk. Just quickly go over that. I work for Conda. That's the most important thing because they kind of sponsor my trip here. So also I'm involved in other open source projects. I love open source projects. That's why I want to kind of spend more time in in the sprints maybe tomorrow. Also, I organize a lot of events and I love the community. I just want to be with the community all the time. So. Do you use virtual environment? This is kind of like a confession. So how many of you use virtual environment? I hope it's all of you. Yes, it's all of you. Okay, but do you remember when you start using virtual environment? Right? So we have all been there. We have all been like those new coder that just use Python and then kind of messed up sometimes, that realize, oh, why do I have a conflict in my packages? So yeah, that's why I'm going to give this talk, because there are always beginners out there that may fall into the pitfall that we fall in before, and I want them to avoid that. So yeah, why do we care about virtual environments? Why do I always advise people who start coding in Python to use virtual environment? Because, well, like I said, we have all been there. We have suddenly, coding and using Python, and it's so cool, especially data scientists. We just, Python for us is just a tool that we can do our job. So don't care about virtual environment. Just start coding, open your Jupyter notebook, and install stuff that you need. Then you come across a problem that you go back to your old project, and suddenly, it requires another version of another thing, and then you install it, and it doesn't work with the rest of your other projects. Very annoying. So you want to have a separate environment to preserve the versions that you are using for your project. So you want to preserve, for example, using Pandas, NumPy, or this, you want to kind of save the versions of all of those, and when you go back to your project, it will always be the same version. Same version of Python, same version of Panda, of everything. Also, when, I don't know how much of an organized person you are, because I'm not a very organized person. I create messes very easily. So if I have separate environment for separate project, when I don't need them, I can just put them in the bin, just remove them, right? So that's really good for kind of having, some kind of control of not having too much junk on your computer. But then, we kind of, after a while, we are not that beginner anymore that make a big mess. We are using virtual environment now. Have you ever wondered, where do these virtual environment, for me, when I start using virtual environment, they are like magic, right? It just appears. It's like suddenly I open the door, enter into another room, and I can start from scratch, brand new. But what really happened? So I am a very curious person, so I want to find out why. So also, how Python find my projects, right? I import something, which is magically happen. If I have already pip installed them, they just magically appear when I import them. So how? Why? When I install something, where did it got installed? Did you pay attention? Because I was the person who didn't pay attention. They just magic for me. So yeah, so this is how I find out later that actually when you import a library, actually there are a lot of things going under the hood, behind the scene that, people may not be aware. So this is how, Python finds your module. They are in the sys.path. So now is the time that I really want to do a demo. So I'm looking for my mouse again because I want to code, but I don't know how I'm going to code now because I have another screen. So I'm going to try. Okay, I'm going to try by escaping this one. Oh, no, how can I? Oh my God. If anybody know a shortcut of not exiting the full screen, please let me know because I've never. Command. Yeah. Sorry, command. Arrow. Like that? No. Oh, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't take me to the other desktop. How am I gonna do that now? Yeah, I can't find the green button because my eyes is really bad. You have to drive me. Oh, where is it? Okay. Left. Keep going left. All the way left, okay. Oh yeah, now I can see it. Oh, oops. Down, okay. Down. Oh no. How can I exit full screen?
Right there, exit full screen.
No, if I can do it from the keyboard, it's much easier. Because I really can't see a thing. It's so far away. Yeah, it's the green one. I try to click the green one. But oh! Win for us. Oh my God, this is why this is so difficult. Why Mac? Why are you making my life so difficult? Maybe I should not maximize it anymore. Okay. We will sort that out later. Okay, let me drag my terminal over here. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay. So let me. Oops. Okay, so I can barely see, but it's fine. So now I have a directory that is empty, right? I created that because I want to demonstrate things, so it's empty. So what I'm going to do is to use the standard library. So actually, Python is very nice when you install it. The CPython that you download from the Python website, it comes with a lot of things that's actually very useful to you, and you may not know. One of them is VM. So you can actually use it to create new environments, so like this. All right, and then I need to have a path to where I want to put the virtual environment. So I've just put it locally because this is a very nice place, and I'll just call it my env. So here, and it's creating a new environment for me. Okay, so now you see that I have my env in here. So that is the new environment that I created. But have you ever looked inside what's inside, right? So I'm going to peek inside and see what it is. Oh, actually, I skipped over. I was supposed to show you sys.path, isn't it? I was distracted by all these shenanigans. So, but anyway, so this is what you have when you have a new environment. But before that, I want to see what Python will find. Will Python find the path for me? So, Python 3. So this is just like entering Python, and then now, when you import something, Python will find them in your sys.path. So I'm going to have a look at what sys.path has. So I'm going to import sys. And then here, and I can print sys.path. I hope I'm typing it correctly. Okay, so you see there's a lot of things going on here. So, so this is where, when you import a library from Python, then this is what Python will look for when you import something. These are all the directory that Python care about, and is in the path that Python will look for. For example, you see that this is the default of my Python 3, which is 3.9, and it's so it's look for whether there's any side packages and stuff. So there's that. The first one actually is empty, which means it's the local directory. So it's the working directory right now here. There's a lot of them, but you realize that none of them actually have something to do with my env, which is the new environment that I just created. So how can we ask Python to have a look at what is in the new environment because I want to switch, right? I want to switch from my default environment to the new environment. So Python should not look at the default path here because then what's the point of creating a new environment? Python should really look into my env, which is the new environment that I want to use. So this is how it goes, right? Now let's do an exit. And so this is why like VM does its magic. So let me clear up all this mess right now. So VM will do its magic by changing your Python path from the default one into the new one that we just created. So I've just shown you how to use VM, how to create a new environment. So now how can I activate it? So let's go a bit backward to look at what is this new thing that we have created. So in here, you see that we have some directories. So some of them is bin and lib, and there's a configuration file. So we are not going to touch the configuration file because we are now assuming that we are beginner. We are just like learning it, right? So let's have a look at bin. So my env and then bin. Here you see that we have a lot of scripts. So these are actually scripts that can be executed. So depending on your machine, your operation system, the way you execute them are different. But on Mac, to activate, for example, I want to activate the environment, so I want to run activate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do source. And then it's very difficult live coding, especially when you have the screen like that. Yes, so my env bin, and then activate. Ooh, OK. So now you can see something happen to my prompt that is different. It's like I have the bracket, my env, in front of it, which kind of indicate that I'm in a new environment. So it's very nice that I can see what environment I'm in right now. So I'm in my env. You can, again, in VM, it gives you full control of you can change where you put this environment. If you don't want to put it locally, you can put it somewhere else. If you're a very organized person, you can have a dedicated place to put them. And you can activate them by sourcing like where this activate file is located. So this is how you activate your virtual environment. So now what I want to do is to have a look at my system path to see if it changes. So let me clear up this and then do a Python 3 again. Oh, by the way, also, I just cleared. So if you have very good memory and remember in the bin, there's also Python. So actually, when you create a new environment, what VM does is that it will also make a copy of the Python version. So if now, since we are in the new environment, if we call Python 3, actually it will use the Python in my env instead of using your default Python. So cool, right? So now, if I do, a typo. Yeah, you see, I'm blind. Okay, now it doesn't. Okay, yeah, we are in the Python 3, and so now you can see that actually it may not be very obvious, but actually we are using the Python 3 that is we just created. It's not my default Python 3. It's the same version because I didn't specify the version. It just copied whatever that I was using 3.9, so it just copy it over. So it's not very obvious, but just take it as a fact. Okay. So let's have a look at the path again. Import sys and then print sys.path. Right. Let's have a look. And now you can see, for example, look at the end of the list, the last entry of the list. You can see that path actually changes. Now it's my env. So now the site packages where Python was looking for the packages is not the default one, it's my new environment one. So that's how when you use a virtual environment, you can separate different environments. Because every time when you run the Python, it will be running a specific version, copy of your Python. When you look for the path, it will look for another, a specific directory for your packages. But then you have to install your packages, right? Then you have to install them here in this path instead of the default path. So what I'm going to do is to go back out and then see what's going on if we install something. So right now, if I do a pip list, like what we do, so you see that because this is a new environment, we only have two things, which is the one that come as default. So what if we want to install a new typo again. So I want to install something new, a new package. So I want to do pip install. The most popular packages in the world, maybe I'm just like, maybe it's not a fact, but like, according to me, right, the most popular packages is request. So let's install it, right? I hope there's no typo. Okay, so it's installing, right? So now, if we look at pip list again, we should also have other things that, of course, requests that I just installed and the dependency of requests. So I have those. So now, where do these requests go, right? So let's have a look at the folder of our myenv again. So let's look at myenv and then look at the lib, right? So inside, we see that, we have Python 3.9, so we can look at Python 3.9 as well. We have site packages, so again, have a look at site packages. And now you see that we have a lot of things, including requests. So that's where our request that we just installed, and also urllib3, because that's the dependency, they got installed in this environment. So they go to the right place, right? This is where, when we import, for example, if I import request, Python will look here to see if I have request. So it's at the right place. So before we moved on, because I'm going back to the slides very, very soon, but before we moved on, I want to do the last check to check whether our default environment has request in it. So what I'm going to do is to exit this environment, which is deactivate. So now we don't have the bracket anymore, which means that we are going back to our default environment. So now what we can do is, again, like do a pip list. Oh, I have to do pip3 because I think my default got 2 and 3. That's just how my Mac works. So now you can see that. I do have some more other things, but I don't have request there, so it's not installed in there. So you can see, it's just like, the final proof that we install it in myenv, but not in here. Okay, so let's move back to the slides. And I'm not going to maximize it this time. It just created too much headache for me. So let's see how I'm going to do this. Okay, where's my mouse? Oh, here, okay. Okay, is it big enough to see? Yeah, okay, good. So that's how Python found your packages. I totally just like ran through all the VMs as well because I don't want to switch between the two too often. So VM, like I mentioned, is a standard library. It's one of the very useful things that come with your Python. You don't have to pip install them. But one of the other things that, for example, if you don't use VM, you probably use others, like, for example, pipenv and poetry. So those actually are based on VM. So what they do is they are designed for Python, right? They're specific for Python, managing Python environment. You probably won't use VM for managing, let's say, your other project in, let's say, Ruby or something like that. It's very weird, you won't do that. So that's one thing to notice. So I've just shown you how to use VM. So, you can create a new environment, and then, there's all these new things that got created, and they are basically how you're going to manage your environment and how Python can separate all these packages from different environments. So now let's talk about Conda, right? So a lot of data scientists, the first thing that they encounter may not be VMs, right? So when they think about how to manage the environment, so they may look online, look at what other data scientists do. They may actually came across Conda because they may use Conda as a start, how to learn Python and do data science work with Python, all this stuff. So that's why I want to also cover Conda and see and describe what is the difference between the two. So Conda actually, it comes with Conda. If especially data scientists, they install Conda. They already have Conda, so that's why a lot of them we just naturally use Conda. It's it's also, so actually Conda does multiple things. It's like, you can imagine it's kind of like VM plus pip. It's manage the environment, but it also manage packages. So you may see sometimes if you look at documentation of some the packages that is actually designed for data scientists, you will see that they kind of, not just having like the pip install command that you can use to install that, but they also have the Conda install command. So the difference is that the default repository that they look for are different. So so using Conda, so basically it's so small, I can't see. So so one of the difference that is using Conda, I remember when we was using VM, we need to specifically provide a path, like where this new environment got created. But in Conda, there's actually a default. So if you didn't specify it with like other the flags to change the default where the environment got created, then it would just create at the default folder. It's like where your Conda is. So for beginners, it may be a bit confusing because you don't know where they are, right? So different from VM is that because Conda can be used with other language library as well. Like, so for example, you have let's say data scientists, they will use other things like R. So then Conda may be more convenient for them because they can also use it to manage their project that is not written in Python. So yeah, because why it can do that is because it's work on the system level. It's not like just like VM. It's just managed. It just changes where Python look for things. It's so that's why it kind of more generally apply for other languages as well. So yeah, these are the equivalent commands that you could use for Conda. So again, like VM, you can create a new environment, you can activate it, you can deactivate it, and also you can specify which Python version you want to use as well. Another thing that I think is quite useful, especially for data scientists, they may want to copy the environment, so they can export it in a YAML file. In VM, like the best thing is to do is like maybe use pip, so you can use a pip freeze to generate a requirements.txt, and then you can install it after. So it's not as sophisticated, I don't know, because I think if you really want to explicitly list out what requirements you have, maybe you would go for something like poetry, things like that to kind of specify all the versions, what the requirements, the lowest or the highest version that you need, and things like that. So, which one to use? I think it comes to the end of the big question, right? Like, am I here to sell you to use Conda? No, I'm not. So I think I'm only showing you two today. There, of course, like I mentioned, there's all the others available, like PyEnv, pipenv, poetry. But I'm comparing these two for now because they are totally designed for different things. VM, the good thing is that it is a standard library, right? I love standard library because it's just come with the package. You don't have to specifically install it. If you're using someone else's computer, if they're Python, they have VM. You don't have to worry about, do you have poetry? No, you can use it. It's specifically designed for Python, so if you kind of stay in the Python ecosystem, you don't have to worry about it. Just use VM. It's that simple. Also for beginners, it's very easy. You see all the where it got created, all this stuff. So I think it's a very good start for someone who's starting with Python. If someone, your friends or colleagues ask you I just started Python and I have this problem, which one should I use? VM is a good place to start. But if that person who asked me the same question is working in data science, if they're already using Conda, then maybe the most intuitive tool that they have available would be Conda. And but one thing that they have to be careful is that they have to remember that Conda install and pip install are totally different things. Conda install from the Conda repository is, you have to use pip install to fetch your library from the PyPI. So that's the difference that a lot of beginners may get messed up, especially beginner data scientists. So So this is coming to the end of my talk. Thank you so much for bearing with all these technical difficulties and stuff, which is very unexpected. But these are the reference. These are where all the documentation are, and they have more detailed explanation of how to do things. Especially the demonstration I do is like on Mac, which like you may be using other operation system. So you know, if you want to use, oh, how do I do it with PowerShell in Windows 10? Then look for the documentation. They will tell you how to do it. And all the other commands with other options and all this like more fancy stuff. You can, again, look at the documentation. Last thing I want to tell you is EuroPython CFP deadline is today. I've heard rumor that they may extend, but not guarantee. So please, if you have good talks, please submit it. It will be in Czech Republic, in Prague, and remote as well. If you don't want to travel that long distance, you can maybe submit something remotely. Yeah, it's very nice. I hope to see you all there, and thank you so much again for having me. I'm really enjoying the conference. Thank you so much.